SciTech09 doing a quick review of the Defender, OtterBox Defender for the new iPhone 4. This just came out this week. The OtterBox Defender is basically four main components. Number one is the high impact polycarbonate shell that goes around and protects your iPhone. Number two is the built-in screen protector, which is, in my opinion, greatly improved compared to the previous version. And number three is the impact absorbing silicone shell that goes around it. And lastly, the covers for the vast majority of the ports on the phone. So I've already assembled it, as you can see here. And let's go ahead and just take a quick look at it. Number one, I just want to say, just so you're aware of it, I had the Zagg InvisibleShield on my phone, and I've had that on there since day one. And I had planned on keeping it on there, but it turns out that it's actually not compatible with this new OtterBox Defender. Now I'm sure some of you may make it work, and it fit in there fine and it closed fine. But what happens is the Zagg shield on the bottom moves the phone in such a manner that the iPhone screen is not in direct contact with the built-in screen protector. So what happens is you have to press down hard on the screen in order to move anything. So the capacitive touch screen works much better with the Zagg InvisibleShield removed. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it has to offer by looking at all the different ports. So first on the side, you notice it has rubber buttons to interact with the volume up and down, and it works great, no problems whatsoever. Here you can see there's actually a cover for the mute switch, and it's pretty easy to get to. You can get your finger in and out relatively easily, just like that. Let's close that up, and let's move around to the top. So you can see it's got a cover here for the audio jack, for the headphone jack, and it does leave a little bit of opening in there. It lined up nice before. I think I didn't put it on there correctly, but it also has a little opening for the cancellation, noise cancellation microphone. So that works nicely. So there's slight exposure in that hole, but anyways, you pop that open and you can get any of your standard headphone jacks to fit in there, no problem. And then there's the on and off switch here, which works just fine. It's easy to push, easy to turn on, easy to turn off. Works well. Nothing on this side other than, you know, the snap to actually close it. And then on the back, I believe on the older models they used to actually put a little foam over the speaker and the microphone, but I think people were having problems with echo sounds when they're making phone calls, so now it's open. So that's another potential exposure in there if it does drop in, say, sand or something like that. Just like the previous model here, you have an actual circular opening with plastic that allows you to expose the Apple logo, I guess, if you're proud to have an iPhone. And then here you have a nice bezeled opening for the camera lens and the LCD flash, which is very nice because it goes in there pretty deep, so it would be pretty hard to actually scratch the camera lens. But the other thing to note is on the older models they actually had a little plastic film that went over the lens, and in this model these are actual holes, so there's no plastic covering that's going over these. And I imagine it's because they tested it with any kind of plastic covering, it was probably messing with the quality of the flash. And on this one I have actually tested it in low lighting situations with the flash, and there is a slight effect on the flash quality, but it doesn't really degrade the image quality. And with regular pictures without the flash, they look great. There's no noticeable effect. And finally, let's move around to the front. When I first put it on, I had the InvisibleShield on there, and I was having real problems with responsiveness of the screen. But after having removed the InvisibleShield, I'll show you here in a second, it works great. But I want to make a point. With the old one, let me go ahead and grab the previous model just to show you an example. So here we have iPhone 3G here in the previous OtterBox Defender, and then of course the new one here on the left. Number one, you can see that the shape of the new OtterBox Defender corresponds well to the shape of the new iPhone 4. I think the design looks much nicer to me. It's a very nice job. I think they did a wonderful job in terms of designing it and giving it that iPhone 4 look. But I still think the old one looks pretty good as well. But the thing that I wanted to note is that, as many of you are aware, there's been this problem with what people call this watermark effect, that with the old screens, when you push down on it, the phone in here does not have a screen protector, by the way, but when you're pushing down on it, it actually causes this screen protector to adhere to the underlying glass, and it gives this almost like water wet look to it, and the more you move it around, the more it actually builds up, and it's hard to get to go away. Now, of course, there are solutions to this, and one of the potential solutions that works decently well is to take baby powder and just put a fine dusting of baby powder on the inside of the built-in screen protector, and that works. The only problem with that is it's almost impossible to put it on in such a way that you don't actually see the baby powder under the screen. So it works, but it's what I would consider suboptimal. Well, when I first put together the new phone with the new Defender case, I actually did the baby powder trick when I had the Zagg on there, and I wasn't having any problems with the watermarking. But again, I was having trouble with the capacitance screen, and so when I removed the Zagg InvisibleShield, I decided not to do the baby powder effect on the screen. And it seems to me, if you look at it in just the right light, there is a slight, almost rainbow effect in the center of the screen. I think you can see a little bit there. And this is without any modification. And you can push on it and you do not get a watermark effect. You just get that very slight rainbow effect, which I find, even with the lights off, I have bright light shining on it, you can barely see it. The screen looks really nice. I no longer have that orange peel effect that I could see when I had the Zagg on there, and I have a screen protector that has no watermark effect, so I'm very happy with it. And as you can see here, it's super responsive. I mean, I'm barely touching it, and it responds essentially the same as it responded with pure glass, so I'm very happy with that. I also wanted to show you, they have a new and improved carrying case here with a belt clip, holster, whatever you want to call it. As many of you know, in the previous one, it was pretty difficult to get the phone out once you put it in. You essentially had to squeeze and pull hard, and it just never felt really easy to do. But now with the new case, you simply push it into the bottom, pops in, snaps in, holds it nicely, and when you're ready to take it out, you just lift this up. And of course, just like before, it's a ratcheting belt clip, so you can go vertical or horizontal, whatever makes you happy. So that's basically my quick review of the new OtterBox Defender for the iPhone 4. I gotta be honest with you, I love this case. I would give it 10 stars out of 10 stars. I mean, I have no major complaints. I think it's great. So go ahead and give me some feedback, and I hope you enjoyed this review.